A lot of people bow in different ways. I grew up doing ring around the rosy bowing. That's what I still do. Wow. Hey, way down there. Hey.
Howdy, neighbor.
Wow. Oh, who's gonna bow?
You up straight? Great.
Oh my goodness. I don't know what, geez. This is mind-blowing. I'm really delighted to be here. I'm Nick. If I hadn't come by and seen you all, this is me. And we're going to talk about Aikido. And the name of this thing, what's the name of this thing?
Something about moving towards softness or something like that.
Moving towards softness in Aikido, right?
That's it. That's it. Aikido.
Aikido. So that's generally what I'm going to try to touch on. And as we go along, I'd like to keep it loose and improvisational and conversate with any particular issues or ideas that come up. If you have parts of the conversation you'd like to include, feel free. I'm not trying to lecture at you. I'd much rather have a conversation where people get their needs met and their questions answered and whatnot. It started with a series of requests that Chris sent me, and the first was, I think, from Peter Jensen. And it had to do, what did you write, Peter? What did you want? You wanted
Centering.
Centering. And something else?
Softness.
I think that's right.
Centering. So when you think about centering, you have some ideas about it, and I've got some ideas about it. Well, I'll look at centering. There was a second one that had to do with forms of Kazushi, and I don't remember who that was.
I think that was part. It was centering and off balance, I believe. Centering and Kazushi.
Okay. Then there was a second tier of stuff, and it had to do with softness and.
That was Nathan, I think.
Nathan,
wherever
what
he ended
did
up.
you want, Nate? Me?
I said the magic stuff.
The magic stuff.
The softness.
Yeah.
Okay, stickiness and heat
Stickiness and
all that
softness,
stuff.
yeah.
Okay, cool. And then there was a request from Kevin.
Wherever he ended up. Yeah.
And way down
Disappeared.
there. And you
There he
wanted
is.
something about, what, the walking?
Yes.
What we call the walking, which is Tegatane no Waza, or there's a bunch of damn names for it. Soku and so what about the what? Because I'd kind of like to start with the most basic and go from there. And the walking is sort of fundamental. So what was your question?
Okay. In Nikata, we noticed online, I think you get in a lot of trouble watching videos online.
Right,
that,
beware.
Some folks would square off their feet and some was more like this. And we noticed that you made sure it was always like this. And I was wanting that explained to my students why it needs to always be like this instead of like this.
Okay.
Square.
So get your feet square on a line. Yeah, that's cool. Put your hand up. Deliver energy to you. Okay? And you feel where it's coming from. It's sort of like out of this foot or that foot, or you can kind of feel where it's coming from in a foot, yeah? But it's a little, if you really try to get maximal, just drive me over. Yeah, your body weight falls, but it's falling right here in this square point, right? Now get fore and aft. Okay, now drive. Ooh, it's very definitely coming from a different place, isn't it? It's coming from a vector that comes out of the ground and from, in this case, go ahead. Yeah. So if we were to really keep doing, I'll do it too. We would be like this, yeah? We'd be London bridges falling down, basically. If the back leg is back, he can give a maximal drive. He can pick up his front foot, drop it through this line of drive. Go ahead, pick your front foot up. And drive, yeah. And do body drop. He can do body drop here too, with the feet squared. He just has a more limited range that he'll get away with it. And they're both kind of correct, but usually we start with the fore and aft because it's the more obvious form. And because it's already sort of our default setting. When we think about driving people and delivering energy, that's what we think. So there are parts of the walk where it's very common that the feet come basically square. And it's other parts of the walk where our hands are engaged and they come not square. In fact, in the earliest iterations, what we see is Mr. Tomiki coming out of that prison camp. So Mr. Tomiki wound up getting caught by the Russians at the end of World War II. And they throw him in a prison camp for 4 years, and he builds this thing called Judo Taiso, which becomes what we call the walk, or the Tegetani no Kata. And when he does it, he doesn't even move the back foot. He has this situation where he's doing this, basically. He's demonstrating body drop and extending the arm, but he's not even considered at all about this sort of thing. When this sort of thing's happening, he's doing like judo footwork. He's doing the first few elements of it. So let's start with the walk. And before I say anything more about it, I just kind of like to watch you all do it a little bit. Is that cool? Does that sound agreeable to you? Sure. A little bit of walking. Anybody here not know what we're talking about? And this is your first time you ever sit on a foot and you say, I don't know what I'm doing. Because I don't want to confuse you or leave you hanging. Everybody cool with the walk? Nod, yes, no. Okay, cool. So why don't we face that way? Get over here by the gong.
Ichi, Hachi, Ichi, Ni, Dan, Chi, Go, Roku, Sichi, Hachi, Ichi, Ni, Dan, Chi, Go, Roku, Siki, Hachi, Ichi, Ni, San, Chi, Go, Roku, Siki, Hachi, Ichi, Ni, San, Chi, Go, Roku, Siki, Hachi, Ichi, Ni, San, Chi, Go, Roku, Siki, Hachi, Chi, Go, Roku, Sichi, Hachi, Ichi, Ni, San, Chi, Go, Roku, Sichi, Hachi.
A lot of brilliant movement. A lot of brilliant movement. Nice. Nathan, would you count, please? And you know, Ichi. Go. Roku. Shichi. Hachi. Ichi. Ni. San. Chi. 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 Go. Roku. Shichi. Hachi. Go. Roku. Shichi. Hachi. Ichi. Ni. on, see, go, rope, ichi, hot, ichi, knee, 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 on, see, go, san, shi, ro, ro, shichi, hachi, ichi, ni, 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 san, shi, ro, ro, shichi, hachi. There sure are.
A lot of body types, a lot of different masses. Smaller people, taller people. A lot of differences.
There are a lot of differences, and difference kind of is very stimulating. There's a tendency to ossify down into this is how it always is, but yeah, there is a lot of difference. And Peter's a rock climber, which I can never really aspire to be. I couldn't do a chin-up. But Pete here has a whole different body way of structuring himself around, moving the center. And so, say more about what you noticed in those differences. Can you explicate any more?
People move through their balance points differently. All of us with the different body types do. Just one thing I was noticing.
What I think about what you're saying is that there's a tendency, and not many people in here know that I catch doing it, there's a tendency to get ready to go before you go. And so when we go real slow all the time, ichi, right? You can actually get away with that a lot. You can say, hey, I think I'll get a little extra bend in this knee, and then I'll drop this back, and then I'll go over here, and then I'll straighten this knee and come back like this. When you have to speed up and you do it at a different pace, you got to pretty much just fall into the zone, or you're going to be late all the time. So depending on the pacing you're going, you can start changing, you can start making a difference. And the advantage of the quicker pace is that it does sort of reinforce paring it down so that you can't get away with extra get ready stuff. What you're saying, I think of as the extra get ready stuff. If I'm going to step forward, I throw my weight to my back leg, I pick my front foot up, and I drop it forward. Well, all that back to my back leg stuff is extra. And it's taking up time and energy going that way when my intentionality and my goal is to go that way. I don't want to spend some time going that way to go that way. I want to go directly that way, which means that it has to start coming out of the center of gravity. The center of gravity